Good morning, everyone. It is still morning, 11:59. Blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, just like a clock's right, whether it's working or not, twice a day, unless it's on military time. Guys, I am so excited. I am really excited, and I cannot. I was just on a Wall Street show regarding Bitcoin with, I don't know, 4 or 5 thousand people. And the host, Scott Melker, who's become a good friend of mine. In fact, you guys should follow him. He's well connected to this industry, been around a long, long time. And I just had to get up. They asked me to come up and say a few words. And I continue to be so excited about this industry that it makes me, my risk management, the side of me that spent 25, 30 years in Wall Street managing risk, exploiting risk. And that's what managing risk means, really, when you think about professional traders. We're managing, but in fact, we like the risk. We're exploiting the risk, right? So when you're trading with someone in the market and you think you know everything, just remember there's a bunch of people sitting at Goldman and BNY Mellon and hedge funds and companies. You don't really fully understand what their remit is, but their job is to find margin and exploit that margin. This has been my big waiver and concern about the token market, the crypto, the crypto bro market outside of Bitcoin. And in fact, for some of the Bitcoiners, you guys that are trading and have been trading for years and years, I'm not a snowflake or what's it called, helicopter parent. You guys are adults. You get to decide on how much risk you do or don't take, and if you want to buy a coin and do the 1,001 trade. Cool. That's up to you. I'm just trying to tell you that there's some professional traders out there today that weren't here 2 years ago. You've never met them. You've never seen them. You're not going to see them coming. It's just going to be really, really hard to make money. These are pros. Big balance sheets, big remit, more tools and analytics than you have. They'll spend $10,000 a month just on data. You're not going to spend that. That's probably what it costs, really, about 5 to 10 grand to have enough professional data to even keep up. So got a little long-winded there, just trying to open the meeting. I've been off the videos since Sunday. I've had quite a bit to do. We've got a lot of news going on. Invited my brother. He may or may not show up. So let's go through the news. We have a lot of things going on. My goodness, man, we have so much going on. We have 13th of December. Bitcoin's price is over 100,000. It hit 103,583. That is the all-time new high. Now, for you that have not been following me or don't know me, I have a trading strategy on Bitcoin where this all-time high number, the 103,853, is a really important number for me because every time we have a new all-time high, I establish 20% off of that number, which would be roughly 81,000, call it $20,000, $20,000 and change off that. That would be a retracement of $20,000. I would start buying there again if we see that. Now, I happen to believe we're not going to see that. If we do see it, we will see it over a very, very short smacking window of time. I'm not even sure most people can, maybe if I can pull this chart up and show you what I'm talking about, because people had an opportunity to buy a very serious but short-lived downwick. Let me just get this, present this here. Bobby, can you grab me a coffee, please? So you'll see here. Let's make sure you guys can see. Good. You can see this. There we go. And what I need to do is get here. Um, yeah. So if you see right here, okay, this was on Tuesday in November a month ago, 26 or so, 3 weeks ago. You see this little down wick to 90,000. Didn't last very long. Let me get some volume in here. Um, there we go. And but if you notice right here and here, this happened Tuesday, the 10th of December. That's 3 days ago. Okay. This, in fact, let me do this. Let me go to the 2 hour charts. And this is what I want to show you right here. You see this right here? Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. You see that right there? That traded from 103. Okay. See, it hit the high. This is really important. Okay. It hit that high, 103, 103.6. And then it would take hours until it tested this new bottom right here. You see that bottom right there? It wanted to test this 91 number and it didn't. It wicked down extremely hard on decent volume and then pop right back up. I think that's a tell, okay? This market has been attempted to be sold off ever since it's pushed through this new 91, 93, right? This band right here. This thing's popped down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, 6 to 8 tests, right, over a 5-day period, and it's only losing $4,000 and $6,000. I know you guys, and it's interesting to see you guys. You know, we've never had the ability to survey such large numbers of people in real time. It's fascinating to me that the price moves from. Let's get this actually. So someone was sitting here. They bought, like my brother. My brother could have easily. How did I get to Ethereum? My brother could have easily bought right here. In fact, I know he did. Okay, he bought in the 97s right here, about right here, 97 or something. He started making a new entry. Okay, well, he probably did it up here. Okay, what he did was he did it right around here, 96, 97. I remember talking to him. He's like, man, I just stepped in and lost $1,000. You can't look at Bitcoin this way. You can't look at Bitcoin on just because you can buy it in 2 hours. You don't want to be looking at this every 2 hours. He's in this trade for 4 to 12 years. So this wick down scared the heck out of everybody. But notice what it did. It popped right back up on volume. And then what do we have here? This is the 6th. On the 9th, 3 days later, it does another test. And on the 10th, 1 day later, it does another test just right above that wick. These are indicators to me that this market should have punched through the 90. It should have gone past 90 and it didn't. It can't, and I don't think it's going to, because I think there's too much buying on it. I want to commend Saylor, Mr. Saylor, and other people that are running algorithms on Bitcoin. In any other market, I think this market would have actually been much more violent in the last 12 months, much more violent. These algos are flattening out. I think Saylor, I spent some time with him a couple of weeks ago. He didn't share any inside, confidential information with me, but I think, and this is just my instinct, somebody can ask him in the next interview they do with him. Notice I've never done an interview with Mr. Saylor. I don't want to interview Mr. Saylor. I want to have a business relationship with him. See, this is really hard for me. Some people I'm really interested in conversing with and learning and helping you guys get access to some of these people. But as soon as I start doing business with them, one, I will tell you, for instance, I would rather have a business relationship with Mark Yuska than interview him. And most of what I'm doing right now is really not interviews. They're conversations for other people like yourself to see how I go into a brand new industry and introduce myself to people, get to know people, and figure out my spot in the industry, develop a relationship. And 4 or 5 years from now, you'll be able to go, oh, wow, I see how he did that. He went and met everyone, got his Rolodex, invited them to parties, did things, made contributions, and then you wake up 3, 4, 5, 6 years later in an industry, and you're well known, you're respected, and you have obtained over that period of time a tremendous amount of intel and understanding of the marketplace. You become an expert. Very few areas in the world where you don't have to go off to school and then become an expert or spend 10 or 15 years earning your wings, so to speak. This industry allows for a hyper accelerated path to freedom and intelligence and knowledge about how the world really works. So, yes, I am going to make a lot of money in this, but more importantly, uh, I am meeting and learning things, meeting people that I think will be very valuable to me for my whole life. In fact, valuable to my family, and I think to the world. These are good people on the whole. Most all Bitcoiners are people that are seriously into Bitcoin that I met are really genuinely good people. Doesn't mean they don't go crazy. Doesn't mean they're perfect. Doesn't mean they're not sinners, but they are on whole. I have a decent survey sample of 4 industries. This has been an unbelievably refreshing, kind, uh, really cool industry to be in. It's full of vibrance, and the thing I like about it, it's not a zero sum cost game. By zero sum cost, what I mean is that in the old paradigm, it's almost as if in order for me to win, you have to lose. And in the Bitcoin world, I think you're going to find that, and this is what's Wall Street's discovering, is that we have a catalyst, Michael Saylor, who has pushed Bitcoin into Wall Street. As they became bigger and bigger, he starts to learn all the arbitrages that are available between Bitcoin and legacy finance, the way all legacy finance works. And what we are seeing is the phenomenon of MicroStrategy. And I'm going to just write this down because I think it's very important. This is I think, an important topic of the conversation: real estate, and what I was able to do with my brother to get him locked and loaded. There's some other things going on right now that, in fact, make me even more excited than real estate. And I got to tell you, as I was saying earlier, I was on a show today, and someone, reminded me they'd been in this industry since 2013. And my comment, just based on it was a funny, haha. Hey, the Cardones are going to get in a ring with another set of twins and do some kind of martial arts thing. And I said, hey, look, I'll put my Bitcoin against both of those boys, and let my Bitcoin fight their Bitcoin, and let's see who wins. And Scott made the comment, bro, they've been around a long time. And I said, I will bet you all my Bitcoin that I have more Bitcoin than these people do. And the guy admitted, he said, hey, I stopped buying in 13. Dude, if you've been in this industry since 2013 and you were given the same information that I was given, and you stopped buying in 13, there is, in my opinion, I don't know, even if you bought 10,000 Bitcoin, why you would stop buying. There is no business these people created between 13 and today that outperformed Bitcoin. I really don't understand this. Okay. And the reason I'm stopping, let's call this the Bitcoin whale hodler phenomena. Probably a new psychological term. I don't understand if you bought $300 Bitcoin, then $3,000 Bitcoin, and then you stopped buying, if you understood what was happening here. I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's easier to look backwards and go, well, now you know. But even like I bought some in 97 the other day. My average cost is $40,787. There is no circumstance where my average cost is going to ever go down from here. My average cost is going to go up. I want it to go up. There's nothing wrong with my average going up. By the way, if you would have bought the S&P 500, every freaking top of the S&P 500 for the last 20 years, you would still be up massively. If you would have bought Apple at the tops for 20 years, you would be up. Okay, so the message is you don't sell King Kong. You don't sell the prime real estate in the world. Like, we don't need more mistakes to learn how super wealthy people get super wealthy. They get super wealthy because they buy something and they keep buying it, man. They don't buy something and go, oh gosh, I'm going to go and diversify into the retail business. Okay. Now, there's a time after 40, 50 years and you had a family dynasty that, hey, that dynasty is probably going to fall because everything gets ancient after a time, in particular in a technological field. This is why I hate retail. I don't know why you would want to be in the airline business, the retail business, or the automobile industry, or the hotel business. That would be a painful business to be in. Everybody's got a different agenda, a different purpose, a different everything, and you're constantly trying to take care of people in a marketplace that is changing so rapidly. It's unbelievable. Some people came in here yesterday and spent 5 hours of my life shooting some video equipment. 3 guys came in. 3 guys got on an airplane from New York. 3 guys stayed in an airport, in a hotel. 3 guys carried about 13 bags of equipment. I'm going to be very interested to see this material. If it doesn't have quality that is so superior to what we're doing right here, I mean, I even looked at the guy and went, dude, 2 of these guys will be out of a job because technology is going to allow us to not have 13 bags of equipment and big, heavy stuff. It's just everything's compressing. Right. Everything's compressed. We are moving into the digital age, folks. And if you really think with that, there's going to be a time when I'm not allowed on the roads. I'm not allowed on the freeways because I become the variable, right? You can't have the analog world trying to live in this new digital fractured universe. So that's cool. That means the whole planet's going to get tokened on that point. We have news here. News on, where is it here? There we go. BlackRock has advised investors, this is yesterday, to consider allocating up to 2% in their portfolios to Bitcoin, citing its low correlation with other major asset classes, a potential for diversified returns. While at the same time, MicroStrategy has added 21,550 Bitcoin for approximately 2.1 billion. That was 1 week's of buying. His total Bitcoin holding today is 423,650 Bitcoins, valued at 41.5 billion, and the company is valued at around 87 to 90 billion. Let me make sure that's correct, but I do think that's very close to being correct. Interestingly enough, his ATM, ability to sell the stock, he sells the stock in the market. The stock has been going from about, it saw 450. It's now trading at around 400, and it traded down just 2 days ago, down to, when we saw those dips on Bitcoin, it traded down from 399 to 343. Quite a dip. I bought right there. In fact, I bought some MicroStrategy at around 340 or something dollars. Trading now at 400. The call options are crazy. Someone bought $1 million worth of calls on MicroStrategy that expires in 14 days. On the 27th of December, they expire, and their call strike number is $525. It is currently $399.74. So someone paid $1 million for the right to call and get allocated. He'll have to pay for it at $525, but he has the right to call $525 stock. He spent $1 million on that, roughly $41 a contract. Somebody's bullish, okay? Damn stuff's at $399. In 14 days, he has made an investment bet, speculation, whatever you want to call it, that $525 is worth paying $1 million for. How many contracts that is, I don't really know, but roughly it's 1 million divided by 41. What else do we have? We have BlackRock's just as bullish as it possibly gets. MicroStrategy's doing its deal. I'd like to add a little point for all you public companies. All the public companies in the world, I dare you, challenge you greatly. Visa, MasterCard, all the banks, Bank of America, all the oil and gas companies, all the utilities, all you big, super wealthy CEOs. I challenge you to get on podcasts on a weekly basis while your company runs its business and you guys do all your boondoggles. And I would strongly encourage you to follow the mechanism that Mr. Saylor's setting. I think it's the Bitcoin standard for Wall Street. The lack of transparency in most public companies is disgusting. It's a complete and utter joke. It shows in reality that capitalism in the United States is a myth. By the way, I'm reading a book by Jonathan Tepper right now, Jonathan Tepper, called The Myth of Capitalism. If you guys were to be as transparent as Mr. Saylor, I would predict that 70% of the companies that are public today would go broke. You would have a loss of shareholder trust. You would find out that most CEOs have no core business. They cannot discuss or share their core business, and most certainly they are not experts in their field, and they do not know anything about the future or evolution and innovation and technology that would suffice them to be able to encourage you to pay for their stock. I mean, there's just no strategy. Check with any bank, check with any of the credit card companies, check with the oil and gas companies, the pipes, the utilities, the grocery stores, the retailers, the insurance companies, the medical shops, software companies that are basically military monopolies, intelligence gathering operations, Google, Facebook, name them, okay? These are not free capitalists. These are highly controlled cartels, clubs, oligopolies, duopolies, and monopolies. MicroStrategy is competing on the world stage, open source, open book, provides his model to you, provides it in writing. Excuse me, I've got a sister who's got a medical problem. It gives you the playbook, gives other Wall Street players, including companies the size of Google and Apple, much larger than him, the same playbook, completely and utterly unworried about them competing with him or outbidding him. Put himself in a position, in my opinion, that he is going to be a dominant player on a monopoly position called Bitcoin, yet that monopoly position has no DOJ exposure, no antitrust exposure. And by the way, there's no way it's class action or monopoly, because he's letting 160 companies, he's begging people to come in. Whether they're bigger or smaller than him, they're begging. I spent 3-4 hours with him with my brother. That was what I needed to push my brother. I've been working on my brother for 2 years. Got a meeting with him and Saylor. Grant didn't even know I was setting up the meeting. I called him and said, "Hey, we got a meeting with Saylor in 2 days. See ya. Bye." He needed that little bit of a boost, right? He needed someone else he didn't know that he could look in their eyeballs and not have any kind of predetermined understanding. And I had to wash away a lot of the BS that my brother had heard for a couple of years in places like Clubhouse and Twitter from a bunch of amateurs. So, I think if you sit down with this cat, in fact, if you sit down with any of us who can explain this properly, who understands the opportunity and can explain the regulatory framework in a way that they understand. This is not difficult to understand. It's when some of the professionals use all this fancy nomenclature and it confuses most everyone. So we got Monster, MicroStrategy. We have Bitcoin doing its thing. We have the Cindy Loomis. I mean, ma'am, I am impressed. Okay. I don't know her well. I've met her maybe 3 times. Your actions alone, these are the people that I work for. Okay. Like I've had a lot of people tell me, make comments, well, you'll never work for anyone. That is absolutely untrue. Okay. Like I would work for Cindy Loomis tomorrow morning. All I see is her actions, and her actions show me she is a champion. A guy like Dennis Porter, who's doing a lot of lobbying, I have supported him, and I've been very vocal about supporting him. He's an action man, dude. Donald Trump's the great catalyst of the 21st century. Okay, I like that. Vivek, I would work for Vivek tomorrow afternoon. He's 20 years younger than me, or 30 years younger than me. Work for him in a minute, man. JD Vance, don't know him, but I see his behavior. Absolutely would work with him in a flash. David Sachs, CryptoZar, absolutely would work with him. Dude, these are beasts, man. These are awesome people. Look at this industry. We are wrapping some of the best industrialists in the world around Bitcoin in America. And if you can't be excited about that, you need to go back and read or watch the white paper. Okay, there's something wrong in your base understanding. This kid I was talking about that bought Bitcoin in 2013, I don't know this kid, okay, but I guarantee he got distracted. He made a mistake to not keep buying, okay? I'm going to tell every one of you guys, if you have 60,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 70,000, 90,000, $100,000 Bitcoin today is risk adjusted. You go to anyone that's a professional and you say, what does risk adjusted mean? Gary keeps using this risk adjusted term. Look, I was never going to invest in Bitcoin at $300. Not 100,000 Bitcoin. I wouldn't have bought 100,000 Bitcoin at $3. Now, I should have, but I wouldn't have. And I most certainly wouldn't have bought 1,000,000 Bitcoin at $3. Back then when, let's see, Roger Ver and all these guys are all arguing with each other. I mean, you got Satoshi out there, he's gone. And you got Roger Ver and some other people starting up programs, and they're arguing with a guy that's not even here. Everybody's saying that one project's better than the other. I couldn't invest millions and millions of dollars in that shit. It was a carnival. But at 100 grand, with MicroStrategy, who have bought 423,000 Bitcoin in the last 4 years, that's when I started, by the way. I actually think our vintage, the 2020 vintage, most of you guys going to hate me for saying this. Our vintage will make more money and keep more money than all the other prior Bitcoin owners ever. There will be more money invested in the next 1 year that has been invested in the prior 15. It will be some of the biggest, most significant money in the world, and it's not going to move. You don't know what hodling looks like until you see these people. I think less than 2% of the entire wealth of the world is actually in Bitcoin right now, far less than 2%. And most families, most family offices, most wealthy, super big families haven't even touched a penny of this stuff. I was at a family office show. This is one of the benefits of what I do, because I do a lot. I get around to a lot of different things. 300, 400 wealthy families. And their understanding of Bitcoin kind of went like this: BTC. They got that much, but beyond that, they couldn't tell you what Bitcoin was if their life depended on it. They've been miseducated. You miseducated them. We all need to get more educated so we can communicate in a way that allows adoption to occur very, very rapidly. Now, why am I so jacked up and excited about adoption, and why do I keep hammering everyone about, hey, look, give Porter, give Perriand, give any of these lobbyists, give Donald Trump some money, send $50, whatever. Look, guys, if you think the Democrats and the people that were trying to kill our industry just 5 weeks ago, that they've gone away, think again, okay? These people are not done with us. And we have a monster job to do, okay? Most of us have no clue how the TradFi world works. Not really, okay? You don't know all the little interconnections. You don't know all the skeletons in all the closets, all the back deals that have been done. They know more about Bitcoin and their own world than we know about their world and Bitcoin. Meaning that you can know everything you want about Bitcoin, but if you don't fully understand how their system works, the enemy, as you're calling them, I think it's the client. They're our future clients, man. Right now, they're just confused. They're confused and they're scared. When you have a cartel, a monopoly, monopolies are easy to knock down. Okay, you file DOJ filings on them, and people like you print enough. You guys start bitching enough about Google's abuse, they will get torn to pieces. Okay, y'all just don't y'all don't complain enough to your senators and your congressmen. Write a letter every day, man. You're being controlled by about 15 or 20 companies on this planet. They're all going to be terrified of Bitcoin because Bitcoin is doing what it does. It's bringing all its principles into the TradFi Wall Street world. And one of those principles is transparency. Why is Michael Saylor telling you every day, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do. We'll never sell Bitcoin. We're going to continue adding. We're buying the tops. And by the way, we just bought 2.1 billion and we paid 98 grand for it. He's not even getting a discount. In fact, I'm buying Bitcoin cheaper than he is. My average cost is cheaper than his is now, but his volume is so much bigger. So when you sit there, Mr. 2013, 15, 16, 20, I'm not making fun of anyone. If you stopped buying Bitcoin 4, 5, 6 years ago, and you stopped, like you just stopped doing anything, you got to look at a guy like Saylor and go, wow, he buys every day, man, for 4 years running. And you guys are shocked that he bought 400,000. The only difference in him is that he said, I'm going to buy as much of this stuff as I possibly can and never stop. And right now they're giving him the fuel. Why wouldn't he jack the fuel in his jet and keep flying? Okay, like this is working extremely well. In fact, I think it's working so well, you're going to see a flood of companies, which leads me to this conversation. It leads me to the real estate conversation. Now, I knew once Grant was presented correctly and properly educated and marketed how this product would help him. And I'm happy to share with you guys one day how to do that, but it had nothing to do with walking him through Bitcoin or the Bitcoin white paper. It had something to do with, hey, do you want to level up? Because there ain't no way you're going to get to 15 more thousand apartment doors. You're too old, dude. Another 15,000 apartment doors, which would be a double. It's a lot of work. Okay. Is there another way to become more prominent, more successful, more expansive, quicker than just doing it the way you've been doing it? As predicted, he announced one deal. So I knew as soon as we get out, he's going to go get on Twitter and, hey, I'm doing a fund. I'll do it by myself or I'll do it with y'all, whatever. So he's doing one. I told him to do 10. And he does one. He downscales it to 87, 15 million of Bitcoin, 87 of cash. I think it's already sold out. This is the right way for him to do this, okay? He launches one, test a little bit, test the interest. He also doesn't want to offend his, 42 other fund deals. Uh, so one, I'm proud of him that he's made the move. Two, after about, I don't know, 40 hours of, and then I chatted with him again yesterday, introduced him to a large institutional player, which reminds me to share this with you too. Really need to have an agenda for these things. See, all these other guys that do media, they have all these people that write their program. I have none of that. But oh, poor me. Anyway, I introduced Grant to a large institution yesterday, and before he got on the call, they were telling me, "Bro, this is off the chain now." Okay, I mean, they're really excited about what we're doing on the real estate side. I'm actually working on something else for very large Bitcoin holders like myself who may want to approach the real estate play slightly differently. I'm playing with an idea, a hybrid. And there are some Bitcoiners like myself that are, pretty deep. And I would say I'm maybe not a maxi, but I'm very first principles on Bitcoin, very. And there are certain things that first principle Bitcoiners desire that I think may offer the real estate funds, that real estate fund market, a unique approach. And I can't really go into it in much greater detail. Grant right now is just going down the vanilla, like the way he's approaching it is, hey, let's get the real estate players into Bitcoin. And so he's going to modulate or model that program to assist the most number of his investors. And then we can talk about, hey, how do you bring the big Bitcoin whales who've been really highly consolidated? Maybe this guy is consolidated, not that I'm teasing about stopping buying in 2013. But this program, it would be about Bitcoin being the superior collateral, and it's a predatory fund. I did a little writing on it, but it's a Bitcoin Apex Predator Fund. I think that's going to be the name of it. Once we work, this is hypothetical. Okay, so nobody can sue me over the hypotheticals. We're just talking here. We will, of course, I will go through and we will go through all the processes to do this correctly. But it's a Bitcoin whale predatory fund with my view that Bitcoin is the greatest collateral on the planet, and that should allow me to buy real estate cheaper than anyone else in the world. I believe that. I believe also that my lending capability with highly consolidated Bitcoin positions will allow me to borrow money cheaper than any human being on the planet, or any other asset-backed, collateral-backed business will be able to borrow better, faster, and cheaper with better terms than legacy borrowing. I got to say, that's so exciting. It's so exciting to think about, let's call it $500 million real estate fund throwing off $20-30 million of revenue a year income. That income then rebuys Bitcoin. That Bitcoin is sitting on, it's already got a chunk sitting on the 15 to 20% sitting on the balance sheet. Then you got 80% sitting in cash. This is no banks involved. Not a bank. You just basically, I don't need you, bank. When the bank rates come down, and I do believe that we will have crushing rates. The best real estate I bought with Grant is under this scenario. Rates are really high. We go in and do a cash deal. 18 months later, we refinance when rates come down sub 4. All the money comes back to me. I still have a position in that piece of real estate, and I still get all the distributions. Those distributions that are coming to me in cash, which I don't need anymore, those distributions get reallocated to the fund in Bitcoin. So now I have a Class A apartment building paying 5%. Terrible, right? Oh, 5% distribution. That's the low end. Okay. I haven't used any financing, so I'm going to probably get half or more of my money back in 18 months if rates go down. If they don't, I'm still making 5 or 6%. I've got Bitcoin in 15 or 20% of this fund that is, increasing in value. And at some point, I think the value of the collateral flip, talk about the flipping. Can you imagine Bitcoin flipping fiat in terms of collateral? Like that collateral would be treated in a superior way using Bitcoin than any other asset on the planet. And it should be. There's no reason, there's absolutely not one thing you can convince me of that would suggest that in less than 18 months, and I think it's 6, my cost of money using Bitcoin as collateral is significantly cheaper than my cost of money to borrow in the fiat world. For sure, dude. Like I'll bet everything I own with it, everything I have on this thesis, because it should be this way. This is the best collateral. If you think it's the best collateral, stop buying potato chips with it. You guys are crazy, man. Okay, it makes no sense. Use XRP for potato chips. I don't care. Use a piece of shit for potato chips, but you most certainly don't use Bitcoin to buy potato chips, man. Unless they give you a monster discount, I'm not using my Bitcoin. Now, this is why I like the Bitcoin play. Who else can buy $200 million worth of real estate on Sunday? Nobody. Nobody can buy $200 million worth of real estate on a Sunday, a Saturday, a bank holiday, or Sunday night at 11:50 when the banks are getting ready to get the letter. The letter is, here's the keys, dude. I don't want this shit I bought in 2021 anymore. I can't afford it. And it's mispriced by 40%. And the bank is not in the apartment running game. They want to get that shit off their balance sheet because guess what? He ain't the only one that's got the problem. And every other bank that competes with them, they're going to get the same phone call on Monday. They're going to breach their covenants. And then the banks are going to be left with a bunch of keys to apartment doors they have no interest in whatsoever. The predator fund will be there and go, hey, we're real estate's financial, what's the word for it? We're the sinkhole. We're the comfort zone. When you run out of fuel, you call up your local Bitcoin real estate fund at Gary Cardone, and we will sort your ass out. I will then give a ring to my brother and go, we have $400 million worth of real estate, bro. I need 90 days. Let's go find the best stuff. Put 400, 500, 600 million, put them in play, and then just go buy the best ones. Collateral is king. If cash is king, what does cash is king mean? It means collateral, dude. He who has the most liquid instant collateral is king. That's what cash is king means. It's so funny how we see we misuse that word. It's not cash is king, it's collateral is king, right? All right, so we got MSTR, we got real estate. Okay, my brother's going to do this a little bit faster than most other people because of his personality, but he'll most certainly do it slower than I will because my personality is even worse than his in terms of jumping into new areas. But imagine the people that are behind him. Okay, imagine they have another 9 to 18 months to get the data, to get the message. They don't have a twin brother like me that can walk them into Michael Saylor space, dude. Right? None of that. Now, having said that, I came up with a decent idea the other day. I was with Chris Piazza, lovely guy in St. Pete. If you guys are in St. Pete, you want to hook up with Chris. He's a great guy. He's doing some work with Kathy Woods at Arc Innovation. And we were in a meeting. I meet with him, I don't know, every 4 or 5 weeks. Every time I meet with the guy, we go to an all-time high. It's hilarious. So probably about time for me to have a drink with him, right? And we were chatting for a couple hours. I said, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to do a pitch in February. I'm going to hold a party here for about 500 people, but we're going to contact all the rich people, all the lawyers, all the CPAs, all the doctors, all the industrialists, all the cyber companies here, the fraud companies, the payment companies, have a collection of an ETF provider, a fund manager, dealer broker like ARC, maybe my friends from Bloomberg, either BlackRock, Van Eck. Love to have the Van Eck guys. Love to have Robert here from BlackRock. Um, I said the ETF, and then a custodial or two, like New York, Mellon. Going to have Cantor here on the lending side. Going to have a whole group of people. Nobody's selling anything. We're trying to educate 500 of the richest people in Tampa, St. Pete, with the promotion of we want to leapfrog Miami. I want to leapfrog every major area, and let's make all our village should be super rich. Okay, you want to safeguard this area, you get it to be super rich. We will not need the government. We won't need the state government. And what we need to do is get all our peeps super rich so that we can then make this world a better place and stop doing some of the stupid shit we're doing. In addition to, like, if we make a bunch of people, I send my children to a school, a local school here. I just got the bill. We spent $249,000 in the last 3 years at this school. They've not had one meeting on blockchain or crypto or digital assets or anything else that has anything to do with the 21st century. It's so depressing. Now, imagine if there were many billionaires. I'm going to become extremely rich here because of Bitcoin, okay? No one is going to ever remember, oh, he was an energy guy. He spent 30, 40 years. No one. They're going to remember me for Bitcoin and my Sunday church, okay? And I think that's awesome. Like, if I go down being known as, man, that guy got a lot of people into Bitcoin. And then he turned it and went and built a bloody church. And by building a church, I mean just like, well, somebody probably does need to build a new church. The I Am Church. I don't know. It's just so exciting for me. Okay, I cannot tell you. In fact, I will tell you that my excitement, my interest level is increasing. It's not decreasing. And I continue to ask myself, hey, why I shouldn't be this excited. This shouldn't be that fun. Like, I have a party here in February, but I'm also supposed to be in Dubai. I'm trying to figure out how to make both work. I don't think I'm going to be able to make both work, but I really miss not being able to do this roundtable thing in Dubai. There's some awesome people. There are so many awesome things to do. I can't even get around them all. I have never, like, this is a really cool thing, okay? Like, I've been in a lot of industries. I keep saying that because not many people have been. Like, my brother hasn't been in a lot of industries. And I'm looking at this with the perspective of, oh my God, man, everyone ends up here. Everyone. I spoke to the chairman of the board of the largest midstream company in the world yesterday. They have done nothing on Bitcoin. Zero. That's all yet to come. We're getting ready to have the ETFs flow in. This is the moment now. Over a year ago, when the ETFs were approved in January, I sat down with Bloomberg and some other people, did enough analysis for myself at least to assess the situation. Would be that the early stage ETF investors would be the hedge funds, the small to medium sized hedge funds, and then it would elevate to some more aggressive ETFs, and then it would go mainstream. It end up in the wirehouse, and that would take 9 to 14 months for this change to go through these large companies. They needed to go through risk management, reporting, analytics, all the reporting that's required, do all their due diligence, get everybody to vote on it. Okay, the real volume on the ETFs is getting ready to show up from wirehouses. We're seeing that because we're seeing activity on MicroStrategy. You want to know why MicroStrategy is doing so well? It's because there's a lot of people on this planet that can't buy Bitcoin. You crypto people, I kept telling you why some of you guys were shaming me in these spaces going, "Hey, I can't believe you're still in the finance world." It's like, well, yeah, how would I disconnect from it? I have a situation. I've been around 40 years. I have bank accounts. I have my children. I have other businesses, man, that have been around. I mean, I heard you guys talking to my brother going, "Hey, you're a loser, dude. You're gonna lose everything." He's like, he's got a $5 billion business. He can't just walk away from it because there's some new glittery object. So this next phase, I think what I'm trying to say, and a lot of this is my own therapy, like my own, hey, am I crazy here? I think what I'm trying to say here is that it's getting ready to become very, very easy for everyone on planet Earth to understand Bitcoin. And before this moment in time, I think people went out of their way not to explain Bitcoin well. And therefore, the audience who may have wanted to invest in this space were so miseducated on it that they shunned it. And we have to get past that. They have PTSD because they've heard James Cramer talking about Bitcoin for 10 years saying it's a joke. And then they read about all these problems. So that memory fog is old. You know why it's old? Because they remember Bernie Madoff. They remember Enron. They remember WorldCom. They remember 2001, 2008, 2013, 2015, 2020, 9/11. They remember all that. They don't want to get caught. Bitcoin's done the worst marketing ever in the history of mankind. I have to keep saying this over and over. You're a $1.8 billion industry, $1 trillion industry, the worst marketing program on the planet. That is the main reason that anyone first should look at just Bitcoin. Wow. It's that big with horrible marketing. That's unheard of, okay? It now has the best marketing ever in the history of mankind. January the 11th, the marketing and promotion on this turned blue chip, glossy, and very understandable to the real world of investing. Not the crypto bros, but the how did that happen? Can you guys hear me now? What the heck just happened? There's 62 million millionaires. There are 406,000 ultra wealthy people. That's over $30 million in liquid net worth. You guys can hear me now, correct? And there are 2,516 billionaires. Okay, I assume the 62 million millionaires have roughly 3 to 5 million. I assume the 400,000 ultra wealthy have probably on average, well, let's call it 30 million. And then the billionaires, I give them 3 to 5 billion each. If you were a billionaire, you're one of 2,516 people. How many of those people would need to make an allocation of, say, 25% each to make a difference in Bitcoin? Let's just play around with that number. You got 2,516 billionaires. If merely 10% of them, 250, decided to whack $1 billion each into Bitcoin, you understand that if it goes to zero, like they literally will probably make more money, right? They probably would make more money. And the reason they make more money is they'd have so many losses on the Bitcoin that they would be able to offset all their other legacy stuff. So their downside isn't too bad, even if it goes to zero. Their upside is, what if it is the apex predator investment? What if it's King Kong, dude? And the motherfucker, excuse my language, but I think that's the only way you can use the word. What if that baby goes from 100 grand to $1 million? That $1 billion is 10 billion now. I heard a guy saying last night he's going to wait for 70,000. I really wish I was up on my board here because I just want to remind him we're at 100. Okay. He's going to wait for 70. First off, like I'll pick it all up at 82. I'll be tickled pink with 82. So he's waiting for 70. It's at 100. The difference between 100 and 70 is 30. Okay. So 100 to 70 is the same as 100 to 140. Right? So you're risking, oh, I don't want to get caught down to 80. I don't want to buy 80s and it goes to 70. Oh, you're scared of losing 10 grand? Or are you not scared of losing 30 on the upside? See, I don't get this, okay? Let's go to zero. I'm at 100. I can lose 100, and that's it. I can only lose 100. In fact, I would suggest that there is in no way for me to lose 100 on Bitcoin at this point. I will maybe lose 40, 30. Okay, so, but let's just pretend it goes to zero. Is there any opportunity for 100 to go to 200? And what's the ratio of that? Do you think it's more likely to go to zero or 200? Do you think it's more likely to go to 50 than 150? Okay, you cannot just simply look at something and go, oh, it's at 100, I'm gonna wait for 70, and not look at, hey, what if it goes to 130? Okay, these are same risk. Now, you can say, hey, it's not the same risk. I don't own it. I can watch it go to 130 and then make the decision. Yeah, you're going to watch it go to 130. It's going to go to 140. Then you're going to buy it, and it's going to retrace to 110. That's what's going to happen. You guys are awesome, man. I see all the comments. Look, I've been thinking to myself, I'm not sure how many times or how long I'm going to just talk about Bitcoin and all this stuff. Right now, there's so much information and value that people are not, there's a lot of news out there, most certainly, but like, as long as it's this exciting, I feel like I have a bit of an obligation to just come and rip on my own view. I don't have necessarily a set way to do this, but I just think that, well, let me just say this. I've never seen an opportunity like this. I don't even need to keep saying it. So look, I've been going for about an hour. What I'm going to do is rip through a few little comments here. First off, identical investing, real grumpy. Tech, CP, good morning. Great day to all from A121. Good to see you, bro. Glad to have you here. You guys, there's a lot of people that will really just show up, and I really appreciate that. It's depressing when you open one of these rooms and 200 people show up, a couple thousand people in the room. That's awesome. All you guys bought Bitcoin today, right? Good. That's what I want to hear. At least sell some puts. See, if you see this guy right here, the guy that did the 100 to 70, that cat, what he should be doing is he should sell someone. Somebody should price up, hey, what's an $80,000 put cost right now? I'll sell people $90,000 puts, $80,000 puts, and for the guy that thinks it's going to 70, dude, I'll sell you a $70,000 put too. You could buy 100 here, buy the put for me at 70, and your downside probably is not going to be less than 90. So if you guys are worried about going long and you need an insurance policy, reach out to me. I'll do a deal with you. Adrian Martinez. Good morning, G. Good to see you, buddy. Mr. Cardone, I built a digital bank based on stablecoin called Bits of Africa to solve the remittance problem. That's awesome, man. Good luck to you. States and nations are buying. I think they may be, sir. They may be. Okay, well, how much XRP do you own? Probably more than most people, but it won't be for very long. I will probably be out of XRP in the next 3 days. I did it for an exercise. I did it to make a point. One of the points was to show how many people are judgmental and critical and make assessments as to what people do and do not own. I bought XRP at 145 because I thought it was going to move. It did. I bought volume. It is not a long-term play. It is less than 1/10 of my overall crypto position. It is a large position. by most people's standards. I have yet to have one good explanation of why XRP is valuable. I'm not trying to be a ding dong. Uh, Happy to have Mr. Brad Garlinghouse explain it to me. I haven't heard any of his army been able to explain it to me properly. I'm a I'm an agnostic investor. If there's something really great out there that I don't understand, bring it, man. Educate me. But you're just going to have to educate me the exact same way that I educate myself and other people educate me on business opportunities. I've missed some great business opportunities, and that's okay with me. I just don't want to get into any bad ones. So that's probably the last time I'm going to comment on all this stuff. Crystal clear. Yeah, I haven't had much of that crystally clear explained to me, but that's cool. I'm probably just slow. GM Gary and my Bitcoin maxis. I'm not sure I'm a maxi, but I'm most certainly a Bitcoin first monster player. 1,000 Bitcoin, by the way, is my goal. I am holding 1,000 Bitcoin at highly competitive prices and am a key member of the Bitcoin universe. See, I like that. See, that's my I am, dude. I'm a long way from the 1,000 Bitcoin, but I will continue to put out. I'm a fucking whale, dude. I'm a monster, and I just keep stacking. Okay, I keep stacking. I would love to see an 80,000. I would love to see you guys get punched out of this thing. And I don't want to see you get punched out, but if you could be punched out, you already know it. You're already sitting there going, man, I hope he's right, dude. I'm nervous. Okay. But if you're worried about it going to 90, dude, I think you're over positioned. You've either held this position too long and your wife's upset, or the position's too big for you, or your duration's wrong. Um, and, if you find yourself in that position, it would be smart to pull somebody off one of these spaces and go, hey, how can I logically manage a position I got into that might just be a little too heavy for me? There's a lot of ways to, sometimes I actually create a problem in business so I can solve it. Like sometimes it's good to have the ball in play, as they say. All right, let me keep going through these comments. Okay. Good morning, my brother from Fibaswami. Good to see you, man. Fibs really does good work on analytics and charts. Love him. JP Morgan and BlackRock have both called Bitcoin the criminal coin and the pet rock. Okay. They did, dude, and they're not doing it anymore. Okay. It's good. Everyone denies Bitcoin first. Let's stop shaming people, man. Everyone didn't like Bitcoin first. Okay. That's first you say no, and then you confront. Let's see. How is Bitcoin Prime? There are 1 million qubits quantum computer. Okay, guys. Quantum computing? Seriously, this is the only thing you can say about Bitcoin? It's $2 trillion, guys. Who was the guy that robbed banks? And they asked him, hey, why do you rob banks? And he said, that's where the money is. If quantum computing is going to fuck Bitcoin, it's going to go right through the SWIFT system, JP Morgan, Bank of America, the Federal Reserve, Fort Knox, long before it gets to this tiny little market. You guys worry about shit that it's just unbelievable. Useless bag, put it in. Okay, Solana for XRP. Solana running on an L2, awesome. No, I don't think any of this care. None of this narrative matters at all for these tokens. This is a bull run, and everything's going to run. The narrative. This is my problem with some of these protocols. Like they keep telling me about how great they're going to be. How great are they right this second? Let's see. So XRP is 140 billion. Man, the XRP community's just got a lot of. If that was your brother, I don't know. I don't need to tell anybody to shove anything, man. Some people just don't understand, okay? Like, I make so many mistakes. Magic Gathering of Nerds. Yeah, okay. Maybe they do. Let's see. See, I don't worry. I got to tell you, you guys worry about all this stuff so much. I've been competing with these people my whole life. Y'all worry about it more than I do. Grant, I'm not Grant. Okay, Grant at Grant Cardone. He talks about real estate. Go there, okay, and start to learn the difference between two human beings. We actually don't look that much alike if you pay attention. And more importantly, we are very different people. I mean, our approach to everything is different and doesn't make it right or wrong. Prime trades in the house. All good till your collateral drops 80%, you get margin called. If you ever were to get an 80% drop and get margin called and you weren't aware that you could do that, you probably shouldn't have been in that game in the first place, my friend. See, anybody that thinks I'm being mean or talking down to that gentleman, that's not my intention. But business for me is just business. And for me to go, hey, bro, like, okay, yes, that is true. If it collapsed by 80% and then you get margin call, you're going to be unhappy. But the truth is, under no circumstances would a market drop 80% and you not be aware of that potential of margin call unless you're a total amateur, okay? A total frog. So there's one thing being a peppy. There's another thing being a frog. You don't want to get squashed under somebody's heavy boot of a margin call. There is no second best. Let's see, Cardone collaboration where Bitcoin joins real estate. It's interesting because I would just remove the RE word. I'm actually working with some people right now, and if you know of private or public companies that are really struggling, I'm actually trying to buy a company right now that has a listing on either NASDAQ or the S&P. And but any company that's struggling and that you guys know and you want someone to actually spend some time with the owners like I did with Grant and bring them over the fence, I'm happy to help. Okay. So just all you got to do is DM me, say, hey, I've got XYZ company. It's all very confidential. Happy to have a phone conversation and see if we can, give them another option that they can play with. Um, so yeah, like I'm very happy to do that. I think that like, and if I don't feel like I can help them, I am quite certain I can put a collection of people together that whoever they are, whether it's super, super, super wealthy or whether it's a moderate family or whatever it is, or business, most certainly I can pull the right people together. And that's what helped with this thing with Grant was I was able to disconnect all the noise he was getting and just go straight to a few core sources and get him much more comfortable. Yeah, look, Chip, man, first off, I'm so glad they didn't do this. Secondly, Bitcoin does not need Microsoft. Think about what I just said. Bitcoin doesn't need Microsoft. It doesn't need Apple. It doesn't need Elon. It doesn't need Michael Saylor, really. I mean, glad to have them all, but he doesn't need them. I would not waste 1 second of Mr. Musk's time in the Bitcoin community. We have so many people on this project. There are so many other areas that we need him. So like, we don't need Elon to come to a Bitcoin conference or anything. We probably don't need anybody coming to the conferences except let's just get our stuff together. Okay. This is our opportunity to bring the whole world into this show. So I don't really care. Bitcoin didn't change 1 second when Microsoft, and we all knew they were going to say no. I think this is a big problem for big companies. Probably would have been a monster problem for them to say yes. Everything gets cheaper in Bitcoin, no doubt about it, dude. All you got to do is see the conflict. Like, in order for you to go into Bitcoin on this strategy, you got to know what your core business is. And most of these companies, their core, man, their core is so dispersed that it's really crazy. Do we have any other news? I don't think we do. MicroStrategy's at 399 as I get ready to wrap up. Bitcoin's at 101795. I have predicted, throwing it out there, 125 by the end of the year. That means we have about 18 days to go, peoples. 125, I think we breach 125. We may come back and test the 100s again, maybe even go below that. I don't think so, but I think we're on the path. It just really, really over the whole period of time. I'm just opening a chart here. I don't see anything that would. I just don't see anything that gets me overly concerned about anything below 95. I think if you can buy Bitcoin right now, if you get the opportunity to buy if I get the opportunity to buy 95 or 96, I would probably be advising myself to take some more. Buddy of mine bought some at 97.5. It was his first little entry. And well, no, he picked some up earlier. And I said, dude, and it fell to 92 right here, fell right down there. And I said, dude, if you liked it at 98, you got to like it here. He said, no, I don't, dude. I don't like it here. And see, that's a mistake. If you liked it at 97, you pick it up at 92. I'm not going to see 75 again, guys. It's going to be really hard to see 75. So, God, you remember I was buying 37s. I'm going to put a whole compilation of stuff together over the last 18 months that I've done. It is going to be shocking, man. How many times I said, hey, I'm buying 28, 37, 32, 34. I had people laughing at me. It would go down $8,000. Picked it up at 52, went to 47, picked it up at 60, 57, 62, 66, converted a house that I'd sat on for 3 years, 2.4 million, converted that at 66690. Everybody laughed at me. It was at 57. I made more money on that 2.4 million in the last 5 months than I made in the prior 3 years. Never had to go to the Bitcoin house to check the alarm system. Didn't have to fix the plumbing. Didn't have to put the yard back together when the hurricane came through. And I made literally 30% on this trade. I made nearly $1 million on a house that I broke even on for over 3 years. I drive by this house every day and I look at my neighbors now. They're nice people, but I'm like, whoa, dude, that was an expensive Bitcoin. If I would have bought that house when I bought it and instead used Bitcoin, that house, I think I would have call it $10,000 at the time. Paid 1.5 million. I would have had 70 Bitcoin. Okay, 70 Bitcoin today, a $7 million house, dude. See what I'm talking about? I paid 1.5, sold it for 2.4, had a bunch of renovations in it. That house is today worth $7.5 million had I bought Bitcoin with it. And I wouldn't have had any maintenance. I wouldn't have had any cost. None of no title shit, no have to fix the pool, have to fix this, have to fix that. So I think we're early. You know how many few people have done this? I'll bet you there's not 100 transactions done in real estate with the sole intention to buy Bitcoin in the United States. I'll bet you there's not 100 of these trades, right? Truth is, I'd sell this house right now. This is a beautiful home, but this house is worth 14 to 18. I'll take it I'll take 140 Bitcoin right now for it, 150 Bitcoin, and then I'll just figure out where I do everything else, where I live, where I do. But this is a one-way train ticket now. This takes me up and to the right every 4 years, and I just have to understand that I'm walking through a valley, in about a year and a half. I'm not going to be at the very peaks here. I'm going to be in the valley, and we're going to be doing the ride up. Uh, nobody, when you go to Switzerland and you go walking, no one, traverses the mountain, gets to a little valley where, you're trying to get over the river and complain about the market's soft. That's how you get to the top, you ding dong. So let's all go on this Bitcoin journey together. It's been awesome for me. I have made more friends and more contacts with more great people and learned more. I've read more in the last year and a half. I'm reading 2 books a week now. I've read more in the last 4 years than I've read in the prior 10. I'm becoming smarter. I'm becoming better. And I have a better group of people around me. So I want to thank you for being here with me. And I'll leave you with one thing that you have to pay for this 1.5 hour show. You got to go out, be nice to somebody, okay? I want you to go out, be nice to somebody that you don't know. Well, maybe you know. Okay, maybe you owe them a favor. Maybe you betrayed them a long time ago, okay? Can't brag about it, though. They can't know you're doing it, and you can't brag about it. You can't brag about it to your wife. You can't brag about it to God. You can't get on your knees tonight and go, hey, look at me. All you got to do is go, hey, did I do enough today? Did I help someone? Did I go out of my way? I don't really care if you're having a miserable day, okay? I know somebody that's just been diagnosed as having a spot on her lung, and she's freaked out, okay? So my job right now is to be extra nice to her, extra patient, extra loving, and your job, and not to like be Mr. Sympathy with her, but just to like be there. Your job's go fix somebody, fix something, help someone, and pay it forward, man. So who wants to get rich? I do. I want to get super, super rich. And most certainly what I want to do is I want to die on this planet with people looking up to me going, you know what? That cat got rich and he stayed a good human being, and he took all that wealth and he used it to help other people. Otherwise, I don't know why any of us are doing it. Okay. Like, I don't know why you would just go work like this and not want to do something really exciting with it. So, with that, I'm going to check out. Peace. Let you guys know I do these things on Sundays. The church, we don't talk about Bitcoin. We talk about getting rich in here. Okay. Here, like, this is me. This is what I want to become: super, 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 super rich, super wealthy, super powerful in me, right? Who am I? What am I doing here? What is my purpose? The more I express my misunderstandings on the world, the more I understand myself, at least, or at least pretend to. And this is all because of Bitcoin. I promise you, I would not be here if it were not for Bitcoin. All right, guys. Sunday, 10:30 a.m. every Sunday. 4 p.m. this afternoon, I'm doing a live interview with Peter Dunsworth, one of my favorite people in the whole world. If you don't know Peter, he is a Bitcoin maxi, Bitcoin first, Bitcoin advisor, one of the few in the world. Is an awesome human being, connected to some really great professionals, and I look forward to that. So if you want to check in later at 4 Eastern, he will be on with me. I'm really excited about that. All right, guys. Peace out. Love you guys. Gabe Higgins, I see you down there, dog. We're still early. This cat's been here. You losing weight, bro? This cat's been here, I don't know. He's been here way before me, 10 years before me. This cat still buys Bitcoin. Okay. He didn't stop. See? Mickey, you still are soon. Okay. No regrets, dude. Cannot even think about the past. Figure out what you did wrong, what your misunderstanding on the play was. It's cheaper today than it's ever been. I really, 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 really believe that, okay? It is cheaper today in risk-adjusted terms than it was at 300, 3,000, or 30,000. All right. Keaton, thank you very much. 100% you get it when you become educated. I just keep getting more and more and more educated. Guys, peace out. Love you. Thank you very much. Y'all have a monster day. And be very, 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 very nice to somebody. Ciao.